Hello, everyone. I am Beau,
And I'm Aaron again.
and we are here with Azure Ages. This is episode 2 of Azure Ages, and today we're going to be talking about a game that I really feel like it's a great example of what this is. And I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite games,
Yeah.
but one of my absolute favorite games was the director cited this game as a direct influence. We're talking about PaRappa the Rapper.
Yeah.
PaRappa the Rapper. PaRappa the Rapper.
Twister.
This game, I remember this game extremely well. It was on one of those ubiquitous demo discs that everyone had for their PlayStation.
Didn't that have the first
Chop
stage?
Chop Master Onion?
Yeah.
And it everyone played this game. It was really everywhere. And everyone had heard of it. PaRappa appeared as a character on PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
Yeah, he did. Didn't he?
Which I think was an absolute. I think it's an absolute shame that game died as fast as it did. I had a lot of fun with it. And before we really knew, when we were kids, we just assumed that PlayStation had a first-party development thing like everyone else did.
Yeah.
And it didn't. None of these games were developed by PlayStation. Crash, the de facto mascot, the one that was appearing in the commercial, standing outside of Nintendo headquarters with a megaphone, that was Naughty Dog, of course. It wasn't even Japanese.
That's a weird thought.
This game was Japanese. It came out on December 6th in Japan in 1996. We would get it almost a year later on November 17th, 1997. That's a truth that's very hard to swallow for Aaron.
It is.
Did November 17th, a day that will live in infamy, 1997. So 1997, we're getting hit with a lot on the PlayStation. I think Ace Combat was 1997.
These facts.
Stuff like that. Oh my god. This game was so different.
Yes.
It was so. I'd never played a rhythm game before. Most people actually say that Masaya Matsura. Sorry. Most people say that he really invented the modern rhythm game with this, and I can't think of anything remotely like this.
I may not be a great example of this, but I honestly can't think of a rhythm game before this one. Like, I'm sure there had to have been something, I imagine, but I mean, maybe not. But I don't remember any other rhythm games of the time.
It's very. And the influence this game had. I mean, when you think about it, like Guitar Hero.
Yeah. It's borderline the same. I mean, it really is the same concept.
The Guitar Hero. So what it is gameplay in this game, very simple in theory.
Ain't about the truth.
You've got what frustrated me about this game, actually. Something did frustrate me with this game. You got these really cool. There's this really cool art style where everything's like cut out of paper.
Yeah.
Everything in the world looks like it's cut out of paper and it's moving on its own. And you got these really cool scenes, and you got this awesome music with this really cool raps going on. And you can read the subtitles, but you can't enjoy any of this.
No.
Because you have to keep your eye glued to a very thin strip at the top of the thing where there's an icon. And when the icon reaches whatever button on the controller, you have to hit it perfectly.
Literally perfectly. I have a theory, and I just thought of this theory, but I have a theory that part of the reason why I struggled so much revisiting this game was because I was on LCD. I almost wonder if this is one of those random freaking things.
One of those things where
needs
a CRT, yeah.
It needs it. That way you can literally count the frames to get a cool rap score.
So, that's an interesting point you make there. Let's go ahead and say, so during gameplay, you have a U rapping meter. Letter U, space, R-A-P-P-I-N.
The most 90s spelling possible.
U rapping. And this meter will go up or down based on how well you're doing.
Usually down.
There are 5 rankings.
Yep.
You have horrible, awful, bad. So there's already way more bad than good. I just told you there's 5. It has listed 3 that are negative.
I don't even think it shows you the horrible rating. I think that's just like insta-fail state.
There's good and the highest one you could be. The best one. The cream of the crop.
Cool.
So you want to be cool, but you're most likely going to be good for most of this game.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, because the cool and good are the only pass states for a level. If you get bad, they're like, do it again. So yeah, most of the time, good is where you're going to be.
So So PaRappa is an aspiring rapper.
Yeah.
He wants to be a rapper when he grows up. He's a cute little dog with a beanie on and a tank top and baggy jeans. It's an adorable design.
Yep. Might be related to Naruto
Might be.
because he's got to believe.
That's
his tagline.
Yeah, his tagline was
Before every rap, he's like, "I know, I gotta believe."
But Naruto actually came out in 1999. The manga.
Oh, see, he was kind of helping Naruto along there.
Yeah, Naruto's a bit like PaRappa.
Yeah. Well, there is a key difference though. PaRappa, he knew he's got to believe. Naruto expects you
to believe it. That's right. By the way, a couple years ago, I had reservations about Naruto.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, please watch it, people. I'm telling you directly. Please enjoy Naruto. It is an incredible, and nothing you've heard has been overstated.
There's a reason why it's one of the big three. That's just all there is.
It's an incredible anime.
Watch Bleach too. It's good.
But
skip the filler though.
I don't really. I just don't have the time for One Piece. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we at 1,500 episodes now.
So what it is PaRappa, his heart's set on a gal.
Yeah.
He wants Sunny Funny.
Yep.
A literal sunflower.
A literal flower. She's a flower child.
She is a flower child. But doggone it, wouldn't you know it? There's another dog in town. Another literal dog named Joe Chin.
Yeah. He's definitely the Chad of the group. He's
got the money, bud. He's going overboard to impress Sunny Funny. And isn't this the same old story, Aaron? PaRappa's like, wow, Joe Chin can give her everything.
Yeah.
But he's not noticing that she's not really impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what Sunny Funny wants? She just wants PaRappa. She doesn't need all these things. But PaRappa, being the good guy he is, he's like, she deserves them. So I'm going to go rap with a bunch of random people in town. And that's going to get me to where I can do it.
That will mysteriously give me a thing to continue my advancement, my relationship.
I know when I was courting my young wife, I thought I'm going to go take rap and karate lessons.
I mean, it makes perfect sense when you think about it. And PaRappa revisits that. I mean, the whole point later in PaRappa's life, when we get to see him again in the sequel, is romantic comedy or romantic karate. I mean.
That's right. Yeah, in 2. But we're talking about the first game now. We'll save the second one for later. There's going to be a world of difference to speak about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It absolutely isn't the exact same video game at all, period, just on a PlayStation 2.
Totally different.
So our first visit is to Chop Chop Master Onion.
Yes.
Who still has my favorite rap in the game. My favorite rap in the game is right at the beginning.
Yeah. It's the only one that I remembered before revisiting the game.
I can still recite it by heart. I'm not going to right now,
so
but I can
good.
still punch. It's all in the mind. Like it's in. What's really impressive about this game is it's a Japanese game. We imported it. We translated it, and this localization team killed it.
It's so cool how it translated in such a way that the rhymes stuck.
And to go back a little bit, you want to talk about arcade style gaming. It is a crime that this game wasn't an arcade game.
Yeah.
It is a crime. This would have been so much fun.
Yeah, it really
would.
would.
Gather around. And it's an arcade. It's arcade gameplay.
Yeah.
It's extremely short. You can knock out this game in what? Half an hour? 45 minutes?
Yes. When I played it here recently, I think I was 35 minutes on the dot, start to finish.
And critics actually hated that about it, but like I really don't like. We're not talking about this game today, but we will get to it because I'm going to force Aaron to play it so we can talk to it because it's one of my favorite arcade games ever, and that's Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi is a great example. If you make I'll do the same thing all day if you make that thing fun enough.
Yeah.
If you make that thing fun enough, I will do it all day.
I had a similar experience with a different game, Driver.
Driver's an excellent example.
It's literally the same damn thing, and I played that game for hours.
I mean, it's this harkens back to what a game is.
Yes,
like not a video game, but just a game. Like people have been playing baseball the same way for almost 200 years.
Yeah,
but we still love it.
Yeah,
people still love baseball.
That's actually an interesting, like, I guess in a way that's also the entire point of this particular podcast. But it's a very interesting thing that's happened in video games. Video games used to be about it's a game, and therefore you do the same, like, rule set. You play the game repeatedly, indefinitely. Whereas now, a game
is an experience.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's great.
Yeah,
that's
they're great in their own lane, kind of thing. But it's just an interesting translation that happened.
I just miss this.
Yeah,
that's what the show's about. I miss this arcadey, like in
begging your mom for the quarters.
The
kind
music
of
and the visuals in this game would have just been perfect for an arcade. Like,
honestly,
I would have spent mad money on this game.
Honestly, like the way it was designed, like in terms of like how the cutscenes worked, and then how the level
like
starts,
everything about it,
feels. I honestly, like, if you were to pull it up right now and look, it would not surprise me if in Japan they had PaRappa arcade machines.
No, all these releases are PlayStation, PSP, and I did not know they had a remastered for PlayStation 4 in 2017.
Wow, that's something.
I had no idea.
I guess you know what you're getting on PSN next, huh?
But absolutely, because we keep talking about this. By the way, guys, our Discord is currently popping with guys talking about their preferred alcohols.
Ooh.
So.
Oh yeah, I actually contributed minorly to that. Right before I came over here.
They're probably all responding to you.
Probably. I mean, I haven't buzzed. They ain't talking to me apparently.
But. I just told you guys that because I see it we're having a good time with it. Like we push things like Patreon because that helps us improve the show. We push things like comment and everything because that gets our word out there. But the Discord, literally, guys, we just like hanging out with you.
Yeah. The best thing about the Discord, and if you join the Discord, what you'll probably love the most is that if you're listening to this podcast and you're enjoying what's happening right now, the Discord lets you literally be a part of the exact same kind of conversations.
Exactly. And that's what this is all about. Like, this is really about, like, we're a bunch of guys in our mid to late 30s, early 30s for some of us, and we're just sick to death of talking about changing our tires. We're sick to death about talking about what we did to our house over the weekend.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the oil change I'm putting off.
Yeah, like we're done talking about that. This is a safe space for guys to talk about, or gals.
This is a safe place for gamers. That's what it is.
Rise up, gamers. But back to PaRappa. So, Chop Chop Master Onion, it's my favorite song in the game. It's such a cool little sequence. And PaRappa, in the first two verses, Master Onion is not impressed.
No, not at all.
The third one, he's like, we're getting somewhere. Into the fourth one, not only do you have a seat on this council, but you are granted the rank of master.
Yes. You have learned all there is to know. And now it is time to wander. Yes.
And
wander
now
into the desert.
It is time, but don't wander to the desert yet because you need a driver's license first.
Yeah.
So you wander over to a moose who I did not realize was a woman until now.
I did not remember her existence until I played through the game again, and then that's when I learned she was a woman because I was like, that sounds feminine.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I did not realize. I thought it was just a feminine voice, but
she's probably got my second favorite rap in the game.
I do like this one, and it's a very panicky one because PaRappa he's got a learning curve. This is the first time he's ever been behind the wheel of a vehicle.
And while she is a good rapper, she is not a good driving instructor.
No,
not at all.
No. But you know what? We get our license.
Yeah,
PaRappa gets his license, and then he totals his dad's car.
Yeah, almost instantly because he's showboating with his friends.
So
typical teenager.
Typical teenager. You know, boys will be boys. Now, so we want to fix PaRappa's dad's car.
Yeah.
So when I need a hunk of cash, when I need a steaming pile of cash,
there's only one thing you think.
There's only one thing I could do. I'm going to go down to the flea market.
Yep.
And what's funny is he doesn't go down to the flea market to sell things.
Yeah.
He goes to get a job. Apparently, people at the flea market hire people.
Yeah. You think at first he's going there to learn how to become a master flea marketeer, and then he meets this burnout, and in fact he just works with him.
That character is such a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a frog, and he's a total surfer bro burnout. Like
it's Pauly Shore.
It really is. He really is. He's Jamaican Pauly Shore. That's exactly what he is. But he does teach you the most valuable lesson probably you could ever learn in one of his lines. He has never sold everything. You will never sell everything.
Mm.
And I live by those words.
Mm. That is a Chinese letter tattoo. That is what that is. That is
That actually translates to jerk.
Man, I work with so many guys with Chinese letters on their neck. It's always the right side of the neck.
There are so many cooler symbols. Like, the coolest person I have ever met in my entire life, and I know nothing about this man. I literally don't even remember what he looks like. But literally the coolest person I have ever met in my entire life, he used that spot on his neck for a much cooler tattoo.
You're talking about the Berserk symbol.
Yes, he had the curse
brand.
symbol from the brand from Berserk.
The brand from Berserk. God, that is...
I don't need to know anything else about that man.
That's incredible. Rest in peace, Kentaro-san.
Yes.
Gone way too soon, but it did prompt me to go back and read through the early chapters of Berserk, and it's like, if you read Berserk, like, you will absolutely throw out The Witcher and Game of Thrones. Like, there is no dark fantasy other than Berserk.
Yeah. I mean,
like, the stakes are so high in Berserk, and like the story is so good, like, and the whole thing, like, Griffith is just the most incredible villain ever, because it's pure. It's he actually feels like a more. This is not a Berserk podcast. This is the exact opposite. This is a PaRappa the Rapper podcast. So
segue from Pauly Shore, I guess.
So he's working at the flea market.
Yep. Works with the Frogman.
And so, but now Sonny's birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
And PaRappa, we're not. Does he actually raise enough money to fix his dad's car?
Actually, very cool little like secret in the game. Not really secret, more of like a Easter egg. If you pass the Frogman's mission with a good rating, you get a new car. You somehow raise a new car off of flea market money.
And PaRappa's dad doesn't care that it's a new car.
Well, the thing is the car is the exact same model and everything of what he lost.
Really?
Now, if you manage to truly master Frogman's lesson and you beat the level with a cool rating, PaRappa literally buys his dad a Ferrari. A bright red Ferrari.
Is it called a Ferrari?
No, but it is clearly a like 80s, 90s Ferrari. It is very much like it is a Ferrari. And
I'm in the wrong business. I need to get to the flea market.
I know. Like, what the crap? Who knew that I could just be selling the stuff in my garage and getting Ferrari money?
He's apparently got a little scratch left over.
Yes.
Because Sonny's birthday's coming up, and PaRappa needs to buy a cake.
Yep.
And he goes and buys it. And
but disaster strikes that cake.
Joe Chin
Yes.
strikes that cake.
Yeah.
So Joe happens to see PaRappa walking with this cake. And it's actually one of the moments. Like, it's actually one of the moments. Like, you don't expect to have like a moment in this game where you're like, man, fuck that guy. Like, you don't expect it.
Well,
you expect Joe to be like a Roger Klotz kind of character.
Yeah,
but this is just excessive.
Yeah, like,
this is egregious.
Like when he showed up with his car and it was like a football field long limo with a pool on the back. You're like, okay, excessive, whatever. When he shows up with PaRappa and PaRappa's got his cake and PaRappa's cake gets thrashed, he also has his own cake that stretches to the heavens. As he describes how many layers it has, it touches the clouds. This man's
like, this cake is an affront to God.
It's the Babel cake.
God's going to strike it down, and no one's going to have the same cake recipe for the rest of eternity.
Is that why cakes are different ingredients now?
Why am I using vinegar and garlic cloves to make cake?
And it comes out chocolate. What is this?
So, it really makes you hate Joe.
Yeah.
It really makes you hate him.
Especially because that was the last of PaRappa's money getting that cake.
Like, I feel like his dad didn't need a Ferrari, but whatever. PaRappa knows what he's doing.
He knows what's best.
So,
he had that 90s money. It's fine.
So anyway, PaRappa's a scrappy little dog.
Yep.
And he goes and watches a cooking show.
Yeah. He does. With a chicken.
The problem is PaRappa, he can't help himself, man. It looks so good.
Yeah.
And this is a problem PaRappa makes for himself. You know?
Which happens a lot for poor PaRappa.
By the way, we normally don't talk about narratives on this show, but on Ace Your Ages, we're just going to be talking about like the game itself. But we've already told you everything there is about the gameplay.
Yeah,
and this narrative is worth speaking. It doesn't take very long, and it's very silly. So anyway, he eats almost all of the cake by himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That chicken did not teach himself restraint.
No, she taught him how to make a cake. With
I think that's the only
chocolate, chocolate, shrimp, and clams. But
I don't think that. I think that's the only rap where you're not actively with the person.
yeah. So like in terms of like the scene and everything, she comes out of the TV, and PaRappa even makes a comment at one point. He's like, "How'd you get out of the TV?"
Yeah, but I always thought that was like PaRappa, just like his imagination.
See, like even though we see him driving, I am fully convinced that he's like an 8-year-old with a hyper imagination.
Right.
And this is all in his freaking head. Like
that chick is a flower, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's either that or he is a teenager, and he is so burned out that he thinks he's talking to the chicken on the TV. Yeah, you're not really with them. I think she comes out of the TV only because he believed and made his cake with shrimp, clams, and chocolate for some reason.
So PaRappa finally gets some FaceTime with Sunny.
Yeah.
He gets to hang out with her.
Yeah.
All
Sunset.
alone. Sunset.
Yeah, the whole 9.
So, but there's a problem.
There's a big problem.
That cake's moving through.
Yes. Repeatedly, in fact.
And so PaRappa needs to get to the bathroom. Because he doesn't want to shit his pants in front of Sunny.
Yes.
Because that's apparently the one thing that'll turn her off. You know,
yeah,
like
she is a flower, I guess. So like maybe that's a.
She wants things smelling good.
breaker.
She does not want things smelling. So you get in the line's pretty long.
Yeah, yeah. You park at the gas station there, and everyone's there.
But there's a way to get to the front of the line.
Yeah.
PaRappa has to believe.
Yes. And rap battle his way to the top
against his former teacher.
All of them.
All of them. So you have to rap this,
and you're all rapping while you have to take shits. And like literally every rap.
If I had to take a shit in
a rap battle is not what
a guy comes up and is like, I need to get to the front of the line, and I'll be like, you know what? If you beat me in a rap battle, there's really nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing I can do. And the best thing about it, the best fucking thing about this part is literally everyone's rap is about how, oh, you think you have to shit? I have to shit, boy. And then PaRappa out-raps and then they're like, fine.
They're like, man, he really has to go.
Like, go ahead, shit before me.
So he gets there and he finally gets to take his dump. And Sunny is apparently just happy as a lark to sit and wait.
Yeah. You know what though? That two-faced freaking flower, right? If you remember, and people watch this narrative, this is important. I don't care if this isn't about the narrative. This right here, okay? The whole time PaRappa is suffering from his uncomfortable bowel movements, and he's all like trying so hard to hold it in. She goes on and on about how hot and manly he is because he looks mad. And when this boy comes back, no longer in pain, and he's able to be happy to be with his girl again, she's like, oh, he's back to normal. You want to talk about fickle.
I just like the idea of like, apparently Sunny's thing is like, I really like when guys have to take a shit,
yeah,
you know, like
angry shit
when they're holding it. Like I forgot how aggressive he was about getting there.
Yeah, he was like, and he like the whole time he's like mean mugging every. Okay, we've all been there. You know when you're mean mugging and you're just angry, staring at everything in front of you. That was PaRappa right there. And boy was Sunny about. She thought he was becoming like Mr. Chin Boy over there. That's what she thought.
Yep. But
no, our PaRappa's a good boy.
So after this, it's kind of nebulous on how much time is spent between these events.
Yeah.
But finally, he's invited to Club Fun.
Yes.
This sounds like a good time. It is literally called Club Fun.
Yeah. It's like the best kind of club there is.
I wouldn't want to go to Club Sad.
Nah. Well, but that'd be a goth club, though.
A very pouty British goth club. That does sound
Bauhaus might be there.
Bauhaus definitely will not be there.
I think they'll take whatever they get now, Beau.
Peter Murphy, I love you. If you're listening, I'm so sorry.
Yes, please know that
please.
I own all of your guys' albums.
Right? Like, I love you so much, Peter Murphy.
I
Please
was
don't be
late
mad
to
at
the
me.
movement, but please believe me, I'm one with it.
I wasn't born when it started. You got to forgive me. But and of course he invites Sunny to go, and she's like, yeah, because she's like, maybe he'll have to take a shit again.
Yeah.
So PaRappa gets on stage,
Yeah.
and in the final rap, he expresses how he feels about Sunny. And it's a very cute little way to end the game. I don't even think it's like that much. The final rap's that much harder.
There are moments in it. So the final rap, if I'm remembering this correctly, it introduced with no warning, double line worth of notes you had to hit.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, when you're playing the game, you're whoever you're battling against will give you a verse. And then you have to do the verse back to them, and you have to have your timing on point with hitting your X, square, triangle, circle, left or right buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
This final one, no warning whatsoever, busts out 2 lines worth, like almost like, like musical notes are written. Like you have 2 lines worth of things you have to hit. And in theory, that isn't that hard, but your timing has to be so good. Like having your cursor jump from the right side of the screen, all of a sudden at the second line on the left side, like it has its moments. Like the choruses are super easy. It's like 3 buttons per line, and then all of a sudden it gets into like this one quick verse, and you're like fighting for your life.
It's like Method Man's rapping for like a minute.
Basically, yeah.
Busta Rhymes. So this is a very beloved game.
Yes.
People really love this game. And I associate it very strongly with that early PlayStation movement.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually the middle. It's actually smack dead in the middle of the PlayStation's lifespan. But 1997 was like fresh for us because we adopted the PlayStation because of Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
is what we did.
Yeah. We technically were a little late to the game on it.
Right, but I think that's when most of Americans started eating the PlayStation up.
Yeah, because we started having games that no one had ever heard of coming out.
So, like OneUp.com gave it a B-. EGM, my preferred gaming magazine back then, gave it an 8.25 out of 10. I distinctly remember the guy talking about how catchy the songs were. Yeah. I distinctly remember that review. Game Informer, a magazine I absolutely do not like, but even they gave it a 8.2. They gave it the same review that EGM did. Mm-hmm. Then some asshole that just woke up on the wrong side of the bed at Game Revolution gave the game a C-.
It wasn't revolutionary.
Oh my gosh! Like why? Why? Game Trailers gave it a 6.5. That's got to be like a retro review. I don't think Game Trailers existed in like 1997.
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe
so.
someone will comment.
There was like 3 gaming news institutions in America back then.
My favorite review of this game, my absolute favorite, is on Wikipedia. It has the New York Times, and the New York Times' review is parenthetically, in parentheses, favorable.
That is the most New York Times thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Quite nice. Quite nice.
Yes.
Quite nice.
Yes. Lovely.
So
they played it while they were wearing their Ponce.
PaRappa the Rapper, as of 2003, sold 1.47 million copies in Japan.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
wow. This
insane.
is back before. This is. In 2003, that's like 6 years of it being on the shelf.
Yeah.
But still, games really didn't go into the million sellers back then.
No, because gaming, that's one thing, that's changed so much. Not just with games in terms of their purpose and their feel have changed drastically. But one thing that a lot of people are not going to realize, unless you were there and you lived through it, is that gaming as a whole, now, gaming is this multi-billion-dollar juggernaut across the planet, right?
Right.
And in 1996, it was still very much just a niche experience.
Oh,
it was
absolutely,
something for the
yeah.
kids,
Oh, yeah, and it's not something you'd expect to sell 1.47 million. That's insane.
Yeah, no.
And that's Japan alone. It's not global sales.
Goodness, that's incredible. But then it's also not too surprising about the Japanese seem based off of just numbers to this day truly appreciate these kind of quickly digestible, just fun, relaxing games.
Yeah, that's and that's just a staggering number to me. I didn't think it was that popular. Probably because in the U.S. It was, as of 2003, 214,398 copies.
Wow.
We did not like it as much as the Japanese.
That doesn't really surprise me.
It's a very we were already sort of trending away from having fun playing video games. Which they still valued a lot more. I actually value the Japanese model of gaming much more than the American one.
Yeah, I could
say.
definitely see that. I mean, one thing that is really awesome about like PaRappa the Rapper or any other kind of game similar to it is that it's something that's quickly digested. So like, that's probably why the Japanese, I mean, if we go off of the stereotypes that we Americans are the only things that we know, the Japanese usually lead very, very busy, hectic lives. The only time that a lot of people have to play a game is on a train ride, and something like PaRappa or anything else along those lines, you can pick it up, play around for a little bit while you're relaxing, and then put it right back down. There's none of that. There's no hold on, let me find a save point kind of thing.
Right.
And there is a lot of value to that, and that's like. But here in America, especially at the time, I feel like, especially at the time, we started getting games. I don't know exactly when this came out, but we started getting games like Siphon Filter, or like Tiny Tank, or any other game. And
you're still literally the only person I know that owned Tiny Tank.
I still own Tiny Tank. I have the pre-edited version before it got recalled from the market because it was considered too vulgar, because Tiny Tank literally told someone to fuck off in it.
Really?
Yeah, like literally that game got pulled from the market because he cussed all the time.
But did he say fuck off?
I believe they bleeped it, but that was still too much for 1990s moms. He did say like damn and stuff clearly. Like, and he would like make very, very clear like insulting jokes towards other people's like everything. I mean, think 90s insults.
It's like Danny DeVito as a
like he literally would like make fun of someone's like genitalia level of crude. And like they're all robots.
What a butthole. No wonder PaRappa doesn't want to hang out with him.
I know, right?
PaRappa's such a nice
he's a nice you know how cool PaRappa is? Do you know the name of his hometown?
I can't remember.
PaRappa Town.
Really?
Yes. We find out in the second game that PaRappa the Rapper lives in PaRappa Town.
Then what is Joe Chin like? What is he bragging about? Like, you could have all the money in the world, dude, but you don't have a town.
He's one of those guys that moved to the suburbs to be cool. He couldn't hack it in the big city, but he could be a big rich fellow in the suburb.
So this game is this game is cited by director Masayoshi Kikuchi, who directed one of my absolute favorite games of all time, Jet Set Radio. It was released as Jet Grind Radio on the Dreamcast in America because they changed it from set to grind for some reason. Grind's
a good buzzword for us Americans.
Yeah, and I mean, grinding is a large gameplay mechanic of that game. And it is cited as his two major influences for Jet Set Radio. I love this. PaRappa the Rapper and the anti-establishment themes of Fight Club. Like that's like saying
what?
That's like saying my chief influences for this artwork that I have, it's the classic Sega puzzle game Puyo Puyo, and of course the heart-wrenching, soul-crushing look at colonialism found in Heart of Darkness. yes, this is.
It's like what?
That
guy is bipolar. That is the definition of someone who is bipolar.
I like the idea of someone just watching Fight Club and being like, I like this. I'm going to make a video game about it. Oh, man, but I like PaRappa the Rapper, too. How am I ever?
How can I combine my two passions?
Must they sit across the bay of my emotions from each other, glaring at each other, never to know each other's touch? How will I combine this?
Oh my
But if
god!
you've played Jet Set Radio, it's an insane video game. It's an absolutely crazy video game. But so like wow, this whole time, like I love also that like that's what I would have used when I had to take a shit. I would have been like, excuse me, we're in PaRappa Town.
Yeah, this
my
is
name,
literally my town.
like, dude. I would, like the whole time growing up, I don't see your name on it. Oh, don't
really?
you?
Let me just go and check the sign outside of town real quick.
We don't film these shows because I don't like being filmed. So Aaron actually provides very graciously works long hours to provide gameplay, which I like a lot better. We're talking about the game. We're not talking about us. But when Aaron goes in, like one thing I do wish we were catching on film. When Aaron goes in to like deliver a good point, he literally does the rock thing where he holds the micro because we're holding our microphones because I feels more natural for me and I can move.
Help but cut a promo.
I really just like the idea of we're gonna start off one of these one time as finally
Donorom has come back to YouTube. No, it's like it looks like the mics they use, and I'm holding it like that,
yes.
and I get excited, and then 2001 Aaron comes out, and someone has to get rock bottomed.
He's got his bring it tank top on. No, actually, he has a really fucking cool Sakura, as in cherry blossom.
Yeah.
Sweatshirt and a very lewd anime T-shirt, if I may say so.
No. Don't you paint me in that light. The T-shirt isn't lewd.
The wall scroll that came with it is.
The wall scroll is. That's why it stays at home.
But there's actually a point for me to bring all this up, and that is we are still a bunch of Japan crazy weebs.
Yeah.
Although we said otaku in our day, sir.
Yes, and I don't know about you. You probably are going to have this similar idea. You started that because of I started that because of Metal Gear Solid. Otacon is like,
yes,
I'm
Otacon.
an otaku. An otaku is someone who likes Japanese anime. And I was like, that's me. I have a word
exactly. The famously meme line now, just like one of my Japanese animes, because like, oh, one of your Japanese animes, Otacon, yes.
As opposed to your Australian anime.
Because Kojima had the foresight to know that we didn't know what those things were, so
Yes.
he's just really hammered it in that these are Japanese. Fun fact. The anime scene that plays when he's describing his love of anime.
Yeah.
It's actually a cut scene from Kojima's game right before that, Police Knots.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
That is, yeah.
Yep. Which a bunch of something awful goons. Actually, well, that's what they call themselves. They did a amazing fan translation patch.
Oh hell yeah!
For Police Knots, so I was finally able to play Police Knots, and it is. God, it is pure Kojima
awesome.
genius. But again, we're talking about PaRappa the Rapper, and Aaron, what we talk a lot on our other show, Old Games Plus, which we're currently covering Xenogears with our Season 1 Imperfect Works.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about what philosophical, sociological, and psychological impact these games had on us. But we're trying to fill time. We wanted to talk about PaRappa the Rapper, but doggone it, there's just not a whole lot of...
Yeah, specifically
not a whole lot
about
of meat
it
there, but I
yeah.
think we've had a really fun episode. I think people are going to enjoy it. I've enjoyed the hell out of doing this. But what... You know, we don't really ever find out what happened to Joe. We don't find it. Did Sonny like the cake? Did Sonny did he get to Sonny with it, or was it just to show PaRappa what he could do?
Yeah. So the last time we see him,
is he at Club Fun?
No. So I don't remember seeing him at Club Fun. He might have been there, but the last time I can confirm we see him is after PaRappa has successfully baked his new cake with the shrimp and clams in it. I'm going to keep saying that because why? And he and his friends and Sonny are enjoying his cake, right? Mm-hmm. And they're all PaRappa especially pigging out on it. And we see in the background that Joe is struggling to carry his cake, and then the whole thing topples over, and he falls and smashes into it and lies in the forest, literally in the forest, face down dead in his own cake. because I do not remember him being at that club, but I do remember that man dying in the woods.
God struck him down for the sin of his arrogance.
And side note, I haven't played all of PaRappa the Rapper 2 yet, but I have so far I'm on like level 4 or 5. He ain't in that game. That man's is dead.
So what? Now that we know the fate of Joe, I know our audience was chomping at the bit to know what happened to him.
Yes, pivotal story arc there.
How did PaRappa affect you? What did you walk away from it?
What did I walk away from it with?
Uh-huh.
Rage.
No, what?
No.
Do you want me to go first? Will it make it easier if I go first?
I mean, you can. It might give me some flavor text to work off of.
I learned one thing. I gotta believe.
Yes, you do.
I gotta believe. That's what I learned from PaRappa.
You know what? Yeah, I can agree with that. And I think what I took away from it is two things. One, I suck at rhythm games. I learned that. I love them, but
you gotta have rhythm.
But I suck at them. I am not. I have known this for a long time. Do not make me your rhythm guitarist. Don't make me your guitarist because I can't play guitar. But if I could, I would be a shredder because you don't have to be accurate, unless you're Ingve. And then, but anyways, I suck at rhythm games even though I love them. And then other than that, I think that I learned that you don't trust people who like shrimp in their cake.
I learned that if I am to bake a cake,
yes,
I am to keep it well within the confines of my mortal
of
my mortal limitations.
Do not
and to not challenge Olympus with my cake.
Do not exceed your squat limit with your cake.
I like the idea of like Zeus walking up to Prometheus and being like, "Get that bird out of here! No more liver for you, pal." Prome, you're off the hook.
Yeah,
I've got someone new, and he just slaps Joe chin down.
Devour his chin daily.
Sisyphus, give me the rock. You're done. Give me the rock. I've got someone else to push it. You can go home.
As if Zeus would be that reasonable. Let's be real.
I don't know. Joe pissed him off, man. That cake.
I mean, he did.
That
cake was an affront. It was a basic white cake too. Okay. I've been knocking PaRappa on putting shrimp and clams with the shell. I forgot to mention that with the shell in his cake. But you know what? You know what PaRappa did? The same thing he did for that entire game. And what that man has probably been doing his entire life. He's been breaking the mold.
Breaking the mold. You know what my favorite part of that music video is? It is Judas Priest. And Rob Halford's dressed like he normally does.
Yeah,
the biker thing.
Yeah.
But every other member is dressed as a pilgrim. And they're in a convertible on their way to the bank to steal their gold record. It's theirs. Their name's on it. It's the one that the recording industry would have awarded them. And so they're on their way to steal. Like, music videos in the early 80s were just amazing, especially the heavy metal ones. They didn't know what to do.
No.
These guys, and what kills me is their stage shows were already the standard.
Yeah.
Like heavy metal guys, but when they you put them on film, they're like, okay, so here's my vision. 4 pilgrims and a gay biker go to the bank. We steal our gold record. Like, maybe the man stole it from them?
I mean,
maybe the establishment
they were taking it back. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's like freaking breaking the chains. Like,
oh, that music video is wild. That music, the Dokken.
Yeah, Dokken. Yeah, he is able to, like, does he fire lightning or reflect lightning off his guitar to break the chains?
I think I think George Lynch solos lightning.
Oh yeah.
Off of it and
they beat. No, that's a different song. They then go on after summoning their elemental powers to defeat a fear demon in the guise of Freddy.
Oh my! That actually, I love that music video because at
Dream
the end
Warriors?
of Dream Warriors, my favorite part of the whole thing is when Freddy wakes up and he's like, "Who were those guys?" And then like he looks up and what? Well, is it the guitar?
Yeah.
Is
I
it
think
Mom?
Yeah. I think it is. No, but my favorite part of that, I think that is the guitar. But my favorite part of the video is when Freddy is still fighting them in the dream world, and he grabs Lynch and yanks him through a wall, like tries to like pull him, and he
Big mistake,
he
buddy.
literally shrugs him off. He's just like, "Get off me," and like that's it. He's like, I am rocking too hard.
When you learn to tap like this, buddy, all right, with your little scissor hands, okay, you come back to me. But guys, PaRappa, we're going to be telling you a lot. The beauty of these games is we could tell you about these games all day.
Yeah.
But the whole if a game isn't the kind of game you have to go and play, it does not make the cut for the show.
Yeah.
Azure Age is because really, and I hold this standard even to this day. Even games that are about experiences, if I'm not having fun playing it, it's a bad video game.
Yes.
Even
if it becomes work.
If I don't care if it's the most brilliant. I don't care if the narrative's actually better than Xenogears, which I feel is the best narrative in all of gaming. If I'm not having fun playing it, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what your narrative is. If at the core, like, because even Death Stranding, I took enjoyment out of Death Stranding. I thought it was a fun game.
Yeah.
And it was probably the one that challenged the idea of fun the most out of every game I've ever played.
Yeah. Especially when you get to the mountains.
Right, but
that's where I started struggling.
But it's and PaRappa the Rapper is pure fun. Even with the frustrations, it's pure fun.
Yes.
I highly encourage you to play this game. Like I said, there's a remaster out for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
it was
so
released
it's
for the
easily accessible.
There's a PlayStation Portable version, the original PlayStation, with 1.47 million copies sold in Japan. I can't imagine. I mean,
if you don't need any other selling point for the game, think about the fact that like, when's the last time you played PaRappa the Rapper?
Gosh,
exactly.
It had to have been at least 15 years.
Okay. In 15 years of not touching that game, probably technically not even giving it a thought for a lot of those days because of life and everything.
Shocked when you suggested it. I was shocked when you suggested it for our second episode.
You still remember the lyrics?
Yeah, I could. I'm not going to. I could recite Chop Chop Master Onion's entire song.
And if you don't need a selling point, if you need a selling point on a game, something that sticks with you after 15 plus years of not engaging with it, like, that is the literal definition of memorable.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is literally what memorable is. And
it's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes if you screw up a song.
Yep. It's
play it on your lunch break real quick.
It's just a fun. It's a very
You'll be jamming to the songs. I guarantee it.
You will be singing these songs for days. It's a fantastic video game. I love that they released a remaster. I can't believe I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I think I stumbled across that when I was looking into the game a little bit. Side note. The PaRappa the Rapper does not like Game Sharks.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it knows that you're doing it, and it intentionally does everything weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when you beat a level, like they'll like PaRappa the Rapper will be like, yeah, and the teacher will be like, you did a good job. They'll like congratulate you. If you have a Game Shark running, it will do the congratulations like scene if you completed the song. But the teacher will still be like, we need to do that again. And PaRappa the Rapper will be like, oh, man.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It lowballs you.
We explained how the name Azure Ages comes from Sega.
Yeah.
And we did our first game on Sega. And one of the reasons I really wanted to follow Aaron on this when he suggested this game was I want people to know this isn't about Sega.
Yes.
It's just Sega is what really... I think Sega was the best of the best for that arcade style.
And they were the last ones pushing it,
They were the last ones pushing it. That quote about the Sega Dreamcast that I mentioned on the first episode was what made me want to do this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just represents that time period. It's kind of like... if I were, it's kind of like how Led Zeppelin wasn't all 70s rock, but to me, Led Zeppelin really represents 70s rock.
Yeah.
Anything more to say to the folks watching at home?
I mean, not necessarily about PaRappa. I mean, I've already, really browbeat into saying go play it. Definitely go play it. The only other thing I can really think that to say is that if you do decide to play PaRappa, or if you know of any other games that are similar to PaRappa in terms of that arcadey, I got to go get some quarters vibe, where you're just playing this for the pure, raw enjoyment of doing it, tell us in Discord specifically.
Yes, absolutely. Come by the Discord. Let us know.
Because we're going to be needing more games.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got a ton of games in mind, but it'll be nice. It'll be nice to take suggestions. And you know what? If you're a Patreon subscriber, you have a right every so often to tell us a game that fits this description. You have a right to stay within these very specific boundaries
that we have arbitrarily set.
And withhold the right to arbitrarily reset to tell us what game to play. But guys, we're running a lot longer on PaRappa than I thought we would. We're going to go and wrap it up. So we will see you next time on Azure Ages. Thank you.
Later.